are you doing? It's Monday morning. I'm sure you must have to miss few classes to be here. And thanks for coming in to listen my story, to listen about my book. And this is my maybe second or third trip to Rajkot, but I've always crossed here on way to Jamnagar to go for bird photography. I don't know if you guys know or not, but Gujarat is a very hot spot for bird photography. So birding is like, I've been to Gujarat a lot of times for to Jamnagar or LRK and Gir, all these places for photography. It's good to be among young people. It gives me a lot of energy, and thanks for inviting me here. And I hope that I'll be able to keep it more interactive, talk to you guys, and instead of one-way traffic that I keep on blurbing my thoughts and my wishes, and ask me questions, anything, anytime you feel like. I'm sure we have a question answer session also post that. Let me introduce myself a bit, because my website is not updated, so I think they only know about my wildlife photography angle. I'm Sandeep Mall, first generation entrepreneur. I was born in West Bengal, Rajasthani by, my ancestors who used to live in Rajasthan, so I'm Marwadi. And they migrated to West Bengal, so I was there in West Bengal, did my engineering from Nagpur University. I'm an electronics engineer. And then in search of doing something, I migrated to Faridabad, which is in NCR of Delhi. And there were initial tough years, anybody who migrates or who goes into a new profession. So real hardship. I mean, there were days when there was no dinner to eat. And 4, 5, 6 years I struggled. Then my wife joined in, and then we moved in, and now I run LNM Auto Industries, which is my flagship company. We have 5 manufacturing facilities in Faridabad, and it's a 100% export-oriented unit. We have a new facility coming up in Jaipur also. It's about making products for automobile industry, agriculture industry, heavy industry, such as the loaders and JCB and Caterpillar machines you see, mining industry. So I have developed more than 2,500 products in my lifetime in the last 27, 28 years for various industries. And I was just talking to Dhruv and the rest of the people, and I was saying the first time I failed in life was mechanics. When I went to engineering, पहला subject mechanics जब आया तो वो समझ में नहीं आया कि हो क्या रहा है. And that was the only time I failed actually in education. But then I ended up working on mechanical engineering side, though I'm an electronics engineer. And now more than 30 mechanical engineers report to me, and I head their design team. So all the products we design, I head it. But there was a time when mechanics कुछ समझ में भी नहीं आता था engineering drawing होती क्या है. So there is that was a huge lesson for me कि fail एक बार हो गए, 2 बार हो गए does not end things. So you can grow from there onwards. So that is where I started my company, and then when I was doing this, everything was all about earning money. So I had no time for anything else. Not to be proud about it, but I had no time to even attend a single PTM of my boys. Till today, I have never been on a holiday with my boys. I had no time for it. So now when I had time, they don't have time. So they have grown up, they want to go in their circle, they want to go with their friends. So I missed out on that part of life when I was because the whole focus, there was no money. So I just wanted to have as much money I can make. So for the next 20 years, I was just focusing on kahin se koi opportunity aaya, and I took take a flight. I've gone to New York or US only for 12 hours. You went for a meeting, took an evening flight and came back home. So that was the only focus. I had no time. So in those 20 years of my journey, I lost out on a lot of things which I don't know I should regret or not. If I had not have done this, I would not have what I have today. But maybe कुछ ना कुछ तो छूटता ही है. Like if you have seen that ये जवानी है दीवानी, Deepika Padukone saying कुछ ना कुछ तो छूटेगा ही. So you miss out on something on life. You don't get everything in life. So that's when what happened was, because of this whole 25 years, I had no time for anything else. As I said, my health started to deteriorate. I was driving one day from New York to New Jersey, and I had a car crash. So there was a car pileup, there were 20 cars, one after the other. And I was in the the last car was mine, there were a couple of people who died. And then I survived. And I survived, I have a titanium disc, they cut from here and I have a titanium disc, I broke my C4, C5. And then 1.5 years I was in rehab. So I was sitting at home and becoming fat. If you see my old picture, you'll not even recognize, I was like obese. And I was just used to introspecting, कि ज़िंदगी में किया क्या, पैसे कमाने के अलावा, what is my identity? Somebody takes away my designation, कि managing director of LNM Auto Industries. What am I left with? There is nothing to introduce. If someday my company is sold or it's like closes down, what is my identity? So that time I realized कि ज़िंदगी में और कुछ किया ही नहीं अपने काम करने के अलावा. And that's when I wanted to transform my life. So I started doing a lot of things. I started learning music. I used to play drums. I used to play piano. I started painting, learning painting. I started cooking. I used to cook every Sunday for everybody at home. So, and it was all from scratch. I'll buy grocery to leke table sajane se leke. The whole thing was I used to do. And because of this nerve injury, I always have a pain on the left side of my body. So that will no go. It will not go away. That's I have to live with it. That sort of situation. And I always have a cotton wool feel below my legs. तो ऐसा लगता है जैसे पाँव सूजा हुआ है types. And there was a time when one of my customers from Canada, he was traveling to India and he said he was a wildlife photographer. He said Sandeep, can we go on a weekend to Ranthambore and see tigers? I have never heard where Ranthambore is that point of time. है कहाँ ये भी पता नहीं. Tiger India में wild में होते ये भी नहीं पता था. So this was 2010. I had my car accident in 2008, and I went with him to Ranthambore. 3 days I was there. We didn't see a tiger, but those 3 days I had no pain on the left side of my usually that I have, and that was like surprise कि रोज मेरे को दवाई लेना पड़ता था for this pain, and here I was without medicine and I had no pain. So something which is like positive when I go back to nature, and that made me to frequent wildlife parks. I have visited almost all the parks in India and most of them in Africa. So, and then gradually you buy equipment, you spend money, and then you buy equipment. You started every weekend was like going to either Okhla Bird Sanctuary or Sultanpur, Delhi NCR के आसपास जितने हैं, and gradually social media, you are visible, your pictures are visible, and people start to appreciate, and appreciation का सब भूखे होते हैं. So when somebody appreciates you, again go back, try to do better, learn things. I got some mentors who teach me about wildlife photography. And in the process, in 2014, I became India's best wildlife photographer. 2015, I won the award again. That's where, my journey as a wildlife photographer, I'll say paused. Because what was next to be done after that? Once you reach a peak of somewhere, then becoming world's best or whatever, going international. And that required almost 200 days of being in the jungle if I have to achieve that level of, expertise. And risk versus reward calculation, it was not matching up. I was not prepared to leave my family for 200 days in a year and spend my time somewhere in Russia or somewhere underwater doing, photography and all those stuff. And that's when I said, let me just do it for the fun of, so I still go to jungle, I still take a lot of pictures, and photography still remains my biggest, most satisfying hobby. But I don't do it with that purpose of like trying to achieve something with photography. And that's when I started moving into running. So I started doing marathons. I ran almost all the marathons that we have in this country. And I just missed one part of it when 2010, when I went there, jungle, and came back, I was obese, and and that's when I realized that I don't look good. Mirror में देखो तो एक मोटा आदमी, looking much older than what his actual age was. And that's when I started my transformation journey also health-wise. And started going to the gym, then eating good food and whatever. The initial 4, 5, 6 years were more about physical part of it, when you wanted to look good and feel good. Look good, actually not feel good. And in some years I realized that the feel good factor is missing. Looking good is something different. but I was getting angry at small things. I was not connected with a lot of people, and that's when I started to do it, taking the emotional journey. So, path of emotional correcting myself. And I even went to the counselor. I had 12 sessions of counseling because I was getting angry a lot. And that all resulted in a very, I'll say, matured individual. And it was unbelievable that, what I was 10 years back and where I am today. So when COVID happened, I thought that I should be, going back to college. So I went back to college during COVID times. I did my certification in nutrition, sleep management, stress management, recovery. And then I went on to do level 2 health coach, which is like, now I'm a qualified coach, health coach. And it's among the L2 health coach qualification is among you are the top 1% in the world. So I qualified. I took 3 years. It took me to be qualified for that. And then I became a health coach. And today I am a health coach to some of the India's most prominent citizens and entrepreneurs you might have heard of. So I do it to raise money for my charity. In the last, I'll say 2 years or 1.5 years, I have raised more than 1.5 crore rupees for my charity. Doing mentorship to all these people who need health coaching. Health coaching is not just physical part of it. There are a lot of things. So coming back to my book, Finding the Oasis is my whole story. What I did, how I did, what could be done, what science says about it. And it's right now with the publishers. The copy editing work is going on, and this will be released this winter. It takes a lot of time with copy editing. And here I am this morning to talk with you about this. I struggled a lot. I had to find my way on this path to this journey. And I wanted to share a few things about this, so that you have those shortcuts. You don't have to go and reinvent the wheel. What can be done and what should be done actually to find the oasis. So I am sure you guys understand what is the meaning of oasis. So oasis is like, finding peace in a life which is full of chaos. Technical meaning, I think, is that, desert may you find water, that sort of thing. So how do you find peace in your life? How do you find happiness in your life when it is full of chaos? And there are one simple formula I calculated and found out was, when you have a balance between time, money and health, when you are perfectly placed, when you have enough time in your life, when you have enough money to support your life, and you have a health good enough so that you can enjoy your time and money, that's when you find oasis. And unfortunately, nature is very unkind. It does not give you all three things together. And like, we all start with 4,000 weeks in our life. When we are born, we all have 4,000 weeks that we have. Most of you guys must be around 20 here. So you have already crossed 1,000 weeks of your life. That's now gone. That is dead. 1,000 weeks in your life is gone now. And out of that 1,000 weeks, you didn't take any decision for yourself. It was mostly your parents deciding, ye school mein jana, ye college mein jana, isse dosti rakhna, ye khana hai, wo khana hai. So everything was governed by somebody else. Now the next 3,000 weeks are what you are left with. And that's when the importance of time comes in. For me, it's when I open Google Chrome, the home screen only says, straightforward says, I am left with 1,198 weekends. So when it says 1,198 Sundays left only in life, you have to decide where you want to spend it. Something which gives me fulfillment, something which makes me happy. That's when you take a call. For you guys, when you have 3,000 Sundays, just imagine we have already, we are in September, it's ending. So we are already done almost like 36 to 38 Sundays gone of this year. And you just celebrated New Year just लगता है कल ही तो नए साल मनाया था हमने. And time flies. So right now, when you are 20 something, you have a lot of time. You have very good health. But most of the people here don't have money. That's where the imbalance is right now. And this is the time when you should be spending a lot of your effort to make as much money as you can. You should be hustling, you should be working 20 hours along with your education. Some expertise, maybe somebody knows to manage social media, maybe somebody knows to, website designing or whatever it is. Maybe coach somebody, you are expert in one subject and you can offer your services to somebody. So this is the time when you should be able to make money. Money कैसे निकाल सकते हो? Time तुम्हारे पास है, health तुम्हारे पास है. You're not going to fall sick easily. So use your time right now to make as much money you can. But making money does not end the thing. It actually has to convert into wealth. And that only happens when you start to save. Saving, I mean, you should be making money when you're sleeping also. Most of you, there will be a lot of Gujaratis here and I don't need to teach them how to make money. But जब तक आप रात को सो रहे तब भी आपका पैसा नहीं बना रहा, तब आप wealthy नहीं हो सकते. Nobody ever got rich working 9 to 5. If you think that you will survive that, no. So you should learn to delay gratification. You don't need an iPhone 15 today. I mean, it's better you invest that money today and in 3 years now you can buy iPhone 18 and you would have made enough money out of that capital that you put in today to buy that iPhone 18 and enjoy that instead of just spending it today. So savings is something which is where very important, investing it right. Where I am today, basically a lot of things has come out because from day one of my salary, the first formula I had, my salary was 2,000 rupees when I started. And one differentiation that I always kept is my company is a separate identity, I am a separate identity. So I've always lived in my salary. There has been nothing, I've never withdrawn money from my company for my personal expenses. So all the lifestyle that I live is out of my salary. Both my sons have also joined now and they also get their salary and they live their life, from the salary they get from the company. So the first expense that I do when my salary comes is to put it in a savings account. And hopefully in the next 5-6 years, I'll be off that situation that I'll need to save more and I can start eating into my capital and enjoy the rest of my life. So second, I will always, as I said, balancing these three things, you need to manage and save more, make as much money as you can, ethically obviously. And because whatever people say, money is very important part of your well-being, of your trying to find the oasis. Simple things that you can buy with your, after a certain age when you will be like in your 30s and 40s. And that's when you need, you don't have time, you'll have shortage of time. You'll still have good health, but you'll have shortage of time. And you would like to buy time, you'll have kids, you have to go to PTMs, you have to attend to them. You will have job pressure, you'll be in a senior position or, your business will be growing at that point of time. You'll be married, you'll have spouse, to argue with. So you'll have old parents to take care of. So उस समय you will feel like कि time यार खाना बनाने वाला कोई मिल जाए तो अच्छा है. I don't have time for this. Or there are hundreds of activities where you would like to buy time. So that's when you feel like so you should have the money to buy time. And that's when the importance of money kicks in. So all said and done, always make as much opportunity you get to make money in your life. And as I said, ethically. And don't go for shortcuts, If you think कि आज पैसे लगाए कल वो stock double हो जाएगा, that's most of the time it's gonna fail. You may be lucky once or twice. Shortcut कोई भी किसी को free में पैसे नहीं देता. It's all like जो ज्ञान दे रहा है वो खुद पैसे बना रहा है basically. All those YouTube में you see people, financial influencers, most of them are junk actually. So don't try to follow them and they give it stock tip and you go and get a stock and then you end up basically losing whatever capital you had. Slow and steady wins the race, and it's the power of accumulation. So if you start saving from the first day, so I started my EPF account with my first salary. And just imagine for last 28 years allocated, you have to pay certain percentage from your salary. So I have been paying double of that, and the amount of money that I have accumulated that will take care of my retirement. I don't even have to bother about a pension fund or this and that or my kids or my, taking care of myself. So don't try to find a shortcut in on your journey to easy money does not exist, it's just a mirage. And the third angle of this is health. If you're not healthy, it's no use. Neither you might have time, you might have money, but if you are sick, if you are on medications, if you are, you guys right now don't understand the value of health, but somebody who is diabetic or who is taking a medicine, or if you see somebody at your home who is on medication, who is sick, metabolically unhealthy, so you will understand how much, problem they have in their life. And maybe you are attending to your parents or grandparents who are sick, taking them to hospitals, and you realize the importance of health at certain point of life. And health ke liye, there are basic things, very basic things, which as a young youth, you don't understand, because aapka health your immunity is so strong that it's not going to affect you much, but more movement, you guys do play sports, I'm sure, move more. It becomes more for the people on the front row actually, than you guys, and eat whole foods, packet se khaya hua, kitna bhi lage acha abhi, or fast lage, but it's not gonna, it's gonna affect your gut health some point of time. Very important, prioritize sleep, late night, once, twice, thrice. If you, once you come to an age, you're like 30s, you will realize the importance of sleep. आज आप 2-4 रात जग जाते हो पढ़ाई करने के लिए एग्जाम पीरियड में, आपको पता नहीं चलता होगा, but some point of time it will start to affect you. So I'm not focusing too much on the physical health side of it, but because you guys right now are in the most cream part of your health ka lifestyle, one thing never miss doing is strength training. Go to the gym, or whatever way you want to do yoga, or whatever way. Muscle degeneration after 30 is very fast. You will see in your parents and grandparents, you will see that, So strength training is something which is a very important part of our physical fitness. But apart from these three things, triangles, there are certain tools that can, fast track you from first gear to fourth gear of your journey towards finding the oasis. And one of the things which has worked wonders for me, and it works wonders for everybody, is networking. So making the right connections. Like, some of you will be some CEO in some company, some point of time, And right now you are in a phase where you can connect with people. I'll give you certain examples. When I was, so as I said, I am from Purulia, West Bengal. It's a very small part. My parents had migrated there. My grandparents had migrated there long time back. And there, when I went back after engineering, I had nothing to do, basically. So we thought there was a Purulia club, old British type club, was there, and there was a tennis court, and nobody used to play tennis there those days. There was no net also, so one of my friend and I decided let's play tennis every day. So we purchased a tennis ka net, and हम अपना tennis का net लेके जाते थे, उसको लगाते थे, and then we used to play tennis, and there was no ball boys or anything, none of these things, and it was more of, tennis कम खेलते थे, ball लाने के लिए एक इधर उधर ज़्यादा भागते थे, that was the situation. But we kept on playing. For after a few months, one day एक लाल बत्ती वाली गाड़ी with a police escort just came and to the tennis court in the club name, and a South Indian guy, he just came out, and he was the district magistrate of Purulia, and he came out and he said, I used to play tennis and I am missing it here, can I join you guys? So next day से वो टेनिस खेलने लगे हमारे साथ. अब आप सोचो, जब डिस्ट्रिक्ट मजिस्ट्रेट आपके साथ टेनिस खेल रहे हैं तो आपका नेट पहले लग जाता था, 2-4 बॉल बॉय रहते थे, हमारे पास बॉल के पैसे नहीं होते थे, so the ball, he used to buy the balls and he used to get, and suddenly we became the king of the town, because we were moving around with the district magistrate. He would invite to his office, चाय पे समोसे खाने, कभी भी बुला लेते थे. We became friends to the district magistrate. So my father, he used to do business of galla kirane ka tha, so you always had that license you had to take, commodities license those days. I don't know if it's there still or not. And getting that commodity license renew was a task, because it was impossible to, without bribing few people, to get that thing renewed. Now what happened was the DC was ordering, and I was sitting in his office, and he'll say, "Inka license do bhai," and my license would come. So that was the power of networking, and when I started writing this book in 2020, I got an offer from a publisher to write a book. And they had one condition, that they wanted me to bring in somebody to write a foreword for the book. We should be a celebrity foreword, because foreword, जब एक unknown author होता है, तो for them to sell a book, you need some celebrities backing it. And I had no one to actually write a foreword, so I had to let go of that offer. And then when the Finding the Oasis is coming, the foreword is by Vijay Shekhar, There are appreciations from Harsh Goenka, Harsh Mariwala, Nitin from Zerodha, huge list of film stars and all this. Now in this, I've been able to network with these guys over the years that I am more friendly with them. I'll give you another, so as I said, I mentor a lot of people, and I do an offsite with my mentees, where I call all my mentees, and last one we had was Rishikesh, and next we are having in Calcutta. So in Rishikesh, we were there 3 days brainstorming what can be done together. And it was one of the most powerful group you can think of in India. We had one direct connection to Mukesh Bhai. We had direct connection to, we had the CEO of Reliance. We have CEO of Paytm. We had CEO of ITC. We had the right-hand man of Narendra Bhai Modi. So just imagine, and we have people, 20 people whose followership on Twitter was more than 5 million. We could have changed the track of the country in that day sitting in that room. That was the power. And these are the people who drive this country, basically the policy making. And this all happened because of, they were all my mentees. So I was coaching them, I was talking to them, interacting with them. And next one, when we have in Calcutta, 8 to 11th February, is in Calcutta. We have another set of 20 people from this year's mentorship. They are coming and joining. So we'll have 40 odd people who are the top people of this country, And that's the power of networking. And how do you network? How do you connect? That's a crucial question. So it all starts by giving. My grandfather used to always say, "Jo deta hai so pata hai." आप देते रहिए, आपको जरूर मिलेगा. I mean, you don't network by asking. You say and say कि मेरे को आपकी मदद की ज़रूरत है. So it's basically you keep on giving for free of cost. I mean, if you go to my Twitter profile, if you guys are on Twitter, I'm Sandeep Mall handle, and all my Twitter handle is all about health or something. Whatever is my expertise, whatever is my knowledge base, I kept on giving free of cost. I have a newsletter which is more than now 10,000 subscribers. It comes out every Sunday. It's in fact 99 issues. The next issue is the 100th issue. So it's all about some things that can positively affect people. And all these people, somehow it came on their timeline. They got connected. They wanted me to guide them, or so that's how we connected. So one important lesson I want to leave you guys with is keep on giving lifelong. Giving, it does not mean giving money. You can volunteer, you can give your expertise, you can give your time, you can help somebody, and the more you do that, the more you get noticed, and it pays dividends. I'll give you a very good example. I was in a vendor meet customer ke saath in Italy a couple of months back, and there were 140 people in that room, all vendors to that multi-billion dollar company. I am also their supplier, and I was also there, and they were like people from 43 countries, they are vendors from 43 countries, and the CEO was there, the company's CEO was there. It was my only opportunity to meet the CEO. And how could I have done it? I mean, it was impossible for me to get an appointment with him because, so then after the 3-hour presentation the company had, so I volunteered. Usually you have question answer session, किसी को question है क्या vendors में. So nobody wants to talk, and then I want to ask a question, that sort of thing. And I just gave them a very good suggestion. I said, you guys making presentation for 3 hours to the vendors, why don't you allocate at least 15 or 30 minutes to vendors to speak about their relationship with the company, what they have grown, how they have grown, what they have learned working with your company. And that idea clicked the CEO. I was invited for lunch by him next day. I was the only one out of those 140 people who got invitation for lunch. And we signed a deal of 5 million euro contract for 2025 working with them. So that's how, I mean, you have to be visible, you have to be, keep on giving. That's how you network. And once you get into the right network, it's very easy for your growth. You just need to call up somebody and your thing is done. You don't have to waste your time, money, resources into that platform. Ask somebody for help. We don't do, we feel कि हम पूछेंगे तो उसको लगेगा, सामने वाले को लगेगा इसको आता ही नहीं है. And we shy away from asking. We don't talk. That's it. I mean, typical example, आप ट्रेन में जाते हैं, फ्लाइट में जाते हैं, आजकल फ्लाइट में ज़्यादा हो गया, people will put on their headphones, एक बुक रख लेंगे and सो जाएंगे. They don't talk to somebody who is sitting by your side. And that's when you lose an opportunity to, interact with. In fact, some of my connections have been sitting on one ear of a plane, The next door person, some VIP, somebody, senior, and you connect and you get to network. Some of my investors have come from there. So that's where ask for help, talk to people. Whenever you need something, just simply call up and ask, or कि मेरे को ये समझ में नहीं आ रहा है, ये बताओगे जरा. There's nothing to shy, because the more you ask, the more you learn. So that's a very good tool to find a shortcut for your this thing. Get yourself a mentor. It's very crucial. We don't understand the importance of mentor. I'll give you a very good example. So every quarter I take 3 mentees. So usually people write to me, and then I choose, and most of the people are usually in their late 30s or early 40s, mid 40s types. I had a very interesting mail from a girl from Calcutta, and she was just 23, and she wrote that I want you to be my coach. And I said, I usually don't teach or coach, mentor such young people. But she said, no sir, I want to. So I sent her the usual form and the process. I have a very extensive form. It's almost like 50 pages of information that people fill up when they apply for mentorship with me. And I sent her my fees, which was prohibitively expensive for her. She wrote back that she said कि sir अभी तो मेरे पास इतने पैसे नहीं है, I'll come back some point of time later. But in 1 week she got back and she came back, sir मैंने एक project पकड़ लिया है, मेरे को अच्छे पैसे मिलेंगे इसमें, I want you to be, and she transferred the money to my trust. And then we worked together for 6 months, on her. She became a CA, she is a CFA, she is a CS, and still lives in a single room apartment with her parents in Calcutta. And she is now a partner also in some accounting firm or some audit firm, I'm sure. But my point is that, she believed that, she needed the right direction when she wanted it. And she didn't shy away from spending money. Whatever money she had, she put everything on that. And when we had this program in Rishikesh, she was also, because as my mentee, she was also there. And she was the only one who got a standing ovation when she talked about her life, when she talked about what she learned. And they were all stalwarts sitting there. And, so that's where, get a mentor. Whatever is your goal, whatever is, look for somebody whom you can learn from, maybe from a book, maybe from practically meeting somebody, asking for help, When you have a mentor, you get the shortcuts very fast, to find your oasis. Value every relation. हम अभी क्या होता है कि हमको लगता है यार मैं तो क्लास टॉपर हूँ, वो उससे क्या मतलब है, उससे मैं दोस्ती नहीं रखूँगा, वो डिस्टर्बेंस है मेरे लिए. रिलेटिव रोल इन ए रिलेशन कीप्स चेंजिंग. आज जिसकी आपको ज़रूरत नहीं लग रही वो आपके लिए बहुत ज़रूरी हो सकता है किसी दिन. तो रिलेशनशिप कभी ख़राब मत करो. Don't look at short-term solutions to, getting into, I don't need him, I don't need her, and you just, don't use their resources right now, you cut off from them. You will, some point of time, you will need resources you need everybody's help, without each other. Nobody has grown self-made. अगर कोई बोलता है कि मैं self-made बना हूँ तो झूठ बोल रहा था. कोई अपने आप नहीं बड़ा होता है, उसके कुछ ना कुछ लोग होते हैं जो असिस्ट करते हैं, जो हेल्प करते हैं, जो ऊपर लेके जाते हैं उसको. And don't smoke. One of the things, which I suffered, I used to smoke. And the only regret, actually more regret than I have than not going on a holiday with my boys, is smoking. This is one thing which is like not going to grow you into anything. This is, some point of time it will hit you back. So one strong suggestion, because I got influenced in college, and that time it was more in fashion, उस समय तो movies में भी फ्लाइट में भी स्मोकिंग अलाउड था, मूवीज़ में स्टाइल होता था. इनफैक्ट द डॉक्टर्स यूज्ड टू एडवर्टाइज स्मोकिंग इज़ गुड फॉर योर हेल्थ. यू विल फाइंड लॉट ऑफ यूट्यूब में वीडियोस द डॉक्टर, बिकॉज स्मोकिंग करने से आपका भूख कम लगती है. जब भूख कम लगती है तो आप कम खाते हो तो आपका वजन कम होता है. दैट वाज द लॉजिक, बट इट टुक वन जनरेशन टू रियलाइज कि स्मोकिंग करने से लंग कैंसर भी होता है. सो अवॉइड एनी सॉर्ट ऑफ नशा, बट स्मोकिंग तो फॉर श्योर. Couple of more things. I'm sure I'm extending my time period. Work upstream. Don't wait for the accident to happen to change your life. Don't wait for a disease to happen to change your course of action. Work upstream. Upstream की कभी तारीफ नहीं होती, कभी कोई उसको देखता भी नहीं है. You see, if you try to look at the traffic cop, there is one genre of cop जो चौराहे पे खड़े होते हैं. And people don't, usually cross the traffic red light, red signal, because there is a cop standing. And at the end of the year, his revenue to the department is 0. But there is another set of cops who पेड़ के पीछे छुपे रहेंगे. जैसे कोई क्रॉस करेगा दौड़ के जाएंगे उसको पकड़ेंगे, उसको सबसे ज़्यादा रेवेन्यू वो लेके आता है। तो डिपार्टमेंट के साल के एंड में जब ताली बजती है उसके लिए बजती कि इसने सबसे ज़्यादा रेवेन्यू लेके आया, बट एक्चुअली उसका जो एक्शन है उसमें देर इज़ ए पॉसिबिलिटी ऑफ एन एक्सीडेंट ऑल्सो, एंड सो अपस्ट्रीम वर्क इज़ नेवर अप्रिशिएटेड। इवन मोदी जी से ताली बजाइए डॉक्टर के लिए जब कोविड हुआ था, बट कोविड ना हो और बीमारी आप नो, आपकी इम्यूनिटी इतनी स्ट्रांग होनी चाहिए कि आप बीमार ना हो। इट्स बिन 6-7 years आई हैव नॉट इवन हैड बैड कोल्ड, आई मीन नो कोल्ड, नो फीवर, नो कोविड, नो थिंग, बिकॉज आई थिंक आई हैव बिल्ट अप माई इम्यूनिटी सो स्ट्रांग दैट I avoid diseases, I avoid sickness, and that's where upstream work, if you prepare yourself beforehand for your challenges, if you plan your time, if you are able to allocate your whatever fulfills you, do the things more that fulfills you, that gives you happiness, that gives you satisfaction, that will be more better for your health, and at the end, trust there is a superpower, जो होता है अच्छे के लिए होता है. In 2001, I was invited by the government of India as a SME, I was a very small enterprise, to visit US with a delegation. That time Kamal Nath was the industry or commerce minister of India, and I was part of a delegation to US, and there I came in touch with a company called Oxford Automotive. They were a tier 1 supplier to Ford, Chrysler, all these top Toyota and all these companies. And I was introduced to them, and we were a very small workshop type, not even this space we had for the factory. And we met, and then something clicked. Something liked about me, and he said, we'll put a joint venture in India. आपके साथ collaboration करेंगे, आप हमारे लिए products बनाइए, you make products for us, and we'll provide the technology, we'll provide the machines, and and I was so happy. I mean, this was the golden opportunity for life when you are. There is 100% surety that your product will be sold, your technology and machine is coming from them. And then they visited us, and we had nowhere to, हमारे पास कोई conference room, मेरा office ही नहीं था, conference room तो दूर की बात थी. So I asked one of my friends, he had a new factory. I said, यार तेरे factory का board हटाते हैं, we'll put our factory's name there, and एक दिन के लिए तेरी factory मेरी है. And I took him to their conference room, and he was very happy. And presentation देने के लिए जब खड़ा हुआ तो मैं बहुत बढ़ा चढ़ा के 30 लोग काम करते हैं हमारे यहाँ पे, that sort of thing. And he came up with, like 41 countries में factories है, 10,000 employees, $10 billion revenue, and all those sort of thing. Still, it went through. There were like a lot of discussions, exchange of emails and everything. A legal agreement was drafted, and joint venture के लिए 18th of June 2001 I was in US again to sign that agreement. As I stepped out of the meeting, I got a call from my dad. He said, I had 3-4 more days of trips to the US still left, and I had some meetings lined up. He said, if you can fly back tonight, come back, your mom is not keeping well. So I changed my tickets, KLM Airlines. I took my flight back, Amsterdam, Delhi. And I came back home. At the airport, my wife came to pick me up, and she told me that mom has been diagnosed with cancer. And in 2001, cancer was something which was, बड़ा हुआ था, मतलब, it's like the end. Mom was just 50 something, and I said, yaar, it's too early for her to go. Next 10-15 days, we came to Bombay first, and met the doctor. He said, Bombay, आप treatment नहीं करा पाएंगे. Go and meet this doctor in Delhi, and he sent us back to Delhi. And then after 10-15 days, I wrote a mail to Mark. Mark was the name of the guy at Oxford Automotive I was in touch with. I said, Mark, that evening I got this news when we signed the agreement. And now I am not in a position to go ahead with this project. Either you have to wait for a year, because treating for my mom is my first priority. And I would like to spend as much time as I can with her, because the doctor said कि 6 महीने से ज़्यादा इनकी ज़िंदगी नहीं है. So I would like to spend as much as time as I can, and then we'll take up the project after 1 year. If you want, you can look for a new partner, or you have to wait for that 1 year. And Mark was very kind. He said कि हम इंतज़ार करेंगे, 1 साल बाद करेंगे. And then the treatment started. Mom का chemo and all this surgery and all this as usually happens. 3 months के बाद में September 11 happened. Osama bin Laden, न्यूयॉर्क के दोनों टावर उड़ा दिया उसने. In October 2001, Oxford Automotive went bankrupt. They closed down, they shut down. And if I would have gone ahead and invested every money that I had, I would have taken loan from the bank, I would have imported those machines duty free. from the government, and the FERA laws were so stringent that point of time. I would have been in jail, bankrupt. Looking back, when I see my mom is still alive, and I didn't go ahead with that partnership, and that helped me survive where I am today. So I firmly believe कि जो होता है अच्छे के लिए. जिस दिन हुआ था उस दिन सोचते थे, भगवान से पूछा, why my mom? You know, why it's happening with us? Why us? Today when I look back and see कि जो हुआ अच्छे के लिए हुआ. So trust the process, believe there is a superpower, and you will find your oasis. Thanks a lot. Thanks for inviting me here. It was an honor and pleasure to be here and speak to all of you.
It was indeed one of the best book talks I've ever been a part of. Thank you, Sandeep sir, for taking us on this amazing ride.
I'll just add one thing here. When the book is released, please go ahead and buy it. उसी से नाम बनेगा अपना.
We encourage you all to share your thoughts or questions about the book. If any one of you have any kind of question or anything you want to say, your views, your questions, your queries, you are welcome.
As students have exams, assignments often, the timelines and work schedules are quite hectic with classes and everything. So is there a suggestion or guidance for students on how they can prioritize mental fitness in their routine so that they can better deal with exam schedules and student life stresses that they have?
Thanks, Roop. One thing you should learn from today actually is debriefing. हर रोज शाम को 15 मिनट अपने साथ बिताओ. Spend 15 minutes with yourself. Write down what you did today. आपने क्या सीखा? Could you have done something better in your class today? The way you learned something. This is going to be very important for you throughout your life. Like today's meeting, you know, this presentation, whatever today's talk I had with you. In the evening, I'm going to write down, you know, what I learned from here, because I'm every minute I'm learning something, you know, and how much patience like you had listening to me. First time writer, you know. Write down, debrief yourself. Debriefing is a very important part of your growing up. You have a baseline settled कि आज ये हुआ, so कल मेरे को या तो ये गलती नहीं करनी है, या फिर ये मेरे को fulfill कर रहा है, या मेरे को इससे अच्छा लगा, तो मेरे को इसी को ज़्यादा repeat करना है. And consistency, there is nothing called talent actually, you know, it's all about consistency. How consistently you do things. So once you do, keep on doing consistently something, the talent is a natural, it comes, you know, because you become an expert in that.
Tell us something, the most interesting incident you had during your wildlife photography career. And the second most question, it requires a lot of patience. Tell us your experience about how you deal with creating or developing patience.
I was in Botswana, and the host there, you know, they had arranged a very nice wine and cheese thing somewhere inside the jungle, and me and my wife and another photographer, you know, and his wife, we 4 of us were there. Water body ke paas mein, nice food laid out, nice wine laid out, and then suddenly we started having elephants coming, wild elephants, and we were surrounded by wild elephants all along, all 4 sides. There was no way we could even go to our jeep, you know, what that vehicle we had, the Land Rover. We couldn't go to that vehicle also. And the first thing we did was, because it was sunset time, evening, sundowner moment, the first thing I did was pulled out my camera, started taking pictures. And my wife was horrified कि आप मरोगे यहाँ पे, हाथी के नीचे आके. And that image that I took is the most published image in almost all the magazines. If you are on social media, you must have seen the 5 elements, reflection, sunset happening. So make the most of whatever situation you are in. I mean, there's nothing I could have done about it. You know, so there's no point in running around and running away from that, because I couldn't have run away from that. And after a certain time, you know, actually the elephants came to that water hole where we were sitting, fortunately or unfortunately. And that was such a thrilling moment, you know, because you're on your foot, you're not on a vehicle, and you are surrounded by more than 100 elephants all across, and a beautiful evening happening. So I just lied down, you know, with my camera, because low level, say, you know, elephant looks much bigger also. You know, it's a big animal, but for a better composition, I wahi niche let ke started. That was one of the most thrilling. Secondly, anytime you see a tiger, even if I have seen more than 100 tigers, you know, but any time you see a tiger in the wild coming at you, walking at you, it's like it's amazing. And patience, you said, patience, I've seen a lot of my problems solve because of patience. So my son was revolting as a teenager. Most of you might have revolted, He said कि मेरे को पूना जाना है, मेरे को पढ़ने के लिए पूना जाना है. तो मैंने बोला नहीं, तेरे को यहीं रहना है. Delhi NCR को छोड़ के कौन जाता है? You have all universities, all colleges here. And then I saw him, revolting a lot of times. I realized after a certain point of time, that revolt करने के against में मैं अगर revolt करता हूँ, react करता हूँ, तो it's not helping the cause, So I started to let the naturally to flow it back. And then he went on to Pune, he did a lot of things. He did his symbiosis, he did his masters, he came back. Then he said, I'll open some cafes. I said, no, again, factory aa tu, kya cafe kholega Pune mein? He opened chain of cafes, they were doing successful. Then he said, मेरे को London जाना है. Then he went there, again did a masters there. And at the end, what I wanted was fulfilled. He came back home. He got job in Deloitte. And then ultimately decided कि, I had a sitting with him and I said, why do you want to start again from scratch? You're already here, grow it from here. Why do you have to start from zero? They look at कि यार पापा ने zero से बनाया तो हमको भी zero से बनाना है. So that's nothing heroism in, that if you have an infrastructure, why not make the most of it? So anyways, what I learned was, कि when my younger son came up, so I changed my whole strategy. I was no more objecting to things. When he said कि पापा मेरे को ये गाड़ी खरीदनी है, खरीद ले. And then I saw that वो कभी खरीदा ही नहीं उसने. उसको मतलब the thing is that he was always you do it more when there is an objection. When I said okay खरीद ले, he never purchased that car. So that my grandfather used to do. जब हम बोलते थे पापा मेरे को दादाजी को कि 5 रुपए चाहिए तो गुल्लक से ले ले, हिसाब लिख दे. वो गुल्लक खोलने की तो हिम्मत ही नहीं होती थी. So so that is where wildlife ने मेरे को बड़ा उससे और उसको ना मजबूत किया. Some of the best shots I have waited for a bird for 5 days. सुबह से लेके शाम तक एक ही जगह पे ट्राइपॉड लगा के बैठे हुए हैं एंड न शोर कर सकते हैं, न कोई वहाँ पे बात करने के लिए. बहुत बार तो मोबाइल का सिग्नल भी नहीं है कि इंस्टाग्राम चला के रील देखते रहें. So there is nothing, so that's when, but the output that you generate, the picture that you get will be one of the rarest of the rare, where you get appreciated even by the scientists because they don't have an image of that bird, or they don't know that it used to come to this area, this locality. And that mental satisfaction because you are in peace with nature, so that patience pays. We don't control somebody else's behavior, we control how we react to that behavior. So, thank you.
Any more questions?
Sir, the question I have for you is, how can someone offer a practical advice to their journey, to their life journey? Because when you were explaining, you have to offer a practical advice to your journey. So I want you to please make me to understand something.
Can you explain? I didn't get the question actually.
How can someone offer a practical advice to their journey?
One practical advice, what would that be?
Be honest. In a world where एक फोटो इंस्टाग्राम पे डालने के लिए 20 बार डिलीट करते हैं, be honest. So you don't need filters in your life. You don't get filters in your actual life. One practical problem I see with this generation is you make friends on online and नाराज़गी हो गई, unfollow कर दो. Friendship ना ऐसे बनती है ना ऐसे टूटती है. So be practical. Don't be for whatever you see online is not actually true. So that's again a money for some companies who are making out of you. So जो honesty रहेगी आपके, आप जैसे हो वैसे हो. If there is a fault, try to work on it. If you think there is a fault, try to work on it. If everything is okay, it's good. That's your identity, that's your value. There is nothing good and bad in this world. It's basically what fulfills you. So no point in showing off to somebody else कि ये मेरा अच्छा वाला हिस्सा है. जो है सो है.
Any further questions?
Thank you, sir, for this opportunity.
So I have a question when it comes to time, money, and wealth. You said time is very important. So as a youth, how can we become effective in terms of time management, time control, and how do we know this is first priority and this is not priority?
So, if I understand right, you want to know how do you manage time, am I right? So, time is very simple to manage in the sense that, I ask all my mentees, when we start with, log bolte hai, I mean, they say that, I don't have time, how do I go to the gym? I don't have time, I have a meeting at 8 o'clock, I have this at 9 o'clock, I have a busy life. I ask everybody to write their calendar in 15 minutes. 6 o'clock I did this, 6:15 I did this, 6:30 I did this, 6:45 I did this. And then they suddenly realize that, they have wasted 3 hours on social media. They have suddenly realized that, they have been doing things which are not growing or which are not fulfilling. So, always it's better to, I firmly believe, I'm an old timer, so I always believe in writing with my own hand. So I'll write down my calendar, I'll write down my things. In fact, when I started my transformation journey, I used to put timer for every 15 minutes, anything which I wanted to do. This is my Twitter time. So 7 o'clock I start Twitter, 7:15 I get off Twitter. So whatever it is, so that's when I was able to focus more on certain things. And scientifically also, as you said, how do you prioritize things? What is important to you? What actually is needed for you right now? So that right now you are in college, so education is obviously one of the most important things you have to do, because this is going to drive your career going ahead. I mean, if not your degree, but all your experience that you have here, 4 years or 3 years, whatever course you are in, that's going to drive your future life. You make the best friends here, you learn the basics, and most of you must be starting to live independently first time when you came to college here. So, how do you independently do these things? So that's when your focus area right now is education, concentrating on your time. How do I make the best friends? How do I, make the best connections? How do I influence my professors? How do I learn from my friends? So all these things will be your priority as of now going forward. It will keep on changing. Whatever is your thing which is fulfilling, as I said, right now my priority is not, spending time. Like, I don't go to shop. I don't go to a mall to shop. I can go out for a dinner with a friend or somebody or family. But because I now wear the same thing, Monday I start wearing a jean, and Monday to Friday I wear the same jeans. I have Marks and Spencer ka 5-10 t-shirt, black color ka, I wear the same t-shirt all 5 days. So decision fatigue is not there when every morning, looking at the cloth almirah and saying, ki aaj kya pehenna hai. So I would not prefer to go to DLF Select City walk, 1 hour drive from home to buy a shoe and come back, so 3-4 hours gone for that one shoe. I'll prefer to wear the same shoe, and ask my kids to order it online or, just to get it from the store. And I'll prefer to spend that 4 hours with my granddaughter, because I know this is her last year when she'll be with me, sort of, because now she'll start to go to school. She's now 3. Now once the school life starts, she's gone from my life. So she'll have her classes, this tournament, this match, new learnings, going to college, and then someday getting married and going away. So this is my last few months with her, I know, where we can enjoy our company. So that's my priority. So to come for a Sunday to Rajkot, I could have planned a couple of more days going to Dwarka Ji and all this thing, when I am here. But I didn't do it at this point of time because, my priority was to go back home as early as possible and spend more time with her. And similarly, my grandmom, so I live with 5 generations. I have a grandmom and I have a granddaughter. My boys, it's a joint family, my parents, and my grandmom, she is 93, she is very sick. And, so 23rd July is my birthday, and my wife was in Bangalore, and 22nd she came back. But she called me a couple of days before my birthday and said, you fly down, let's go to Ooty to celebrate your birthday. So I said, I don't know, maybe you come back, because this may be the last year I am celebrating my birthday with my grandmom. She is so sick, she may not survive next 23rd July 2024. So let's celebrate with her. So that's basically is whatever is your, something which is fulfilling you, whatever is giving you happiness, do that. That should be your priority.
Okay, sir, I have a next question, sir. When it comes to network, you said one of the ways to networking is giving, and there's overgiving. So how do you know you're giving too much or giving too little? How do you know this is the right amount of giving to this situation? Can you explain that point?
You can never give, overgive, I mean, it's impossible to overgive. You can only give what you have. So obviously you can never overgive anything. You'll always, some point of time it will come back. You have to trust the process. You just can't, because it's not a balance sheet. You are like, you're keeping an account of giving. So you keep on doing and you'll be noticed, and you'll be, like you are noticed today in crowd of 500, 800 people here. Because you stood up, asked the question, so you're noticed. So that's very simple. Keep on giving, that will come back to you.
Alright, sir, I have one last question. So you said that, so when you get paid, you never touch into your company's money. How do you keep that financial discipline?
Basically, it's not, I don't take that decision. There's an HR, there are independent people, and if I don't deliver what I do, my salary will not increase. So that's where, as I said, keep a different identity. My company is not me. It's not my will that, I'll withdraw whatever I want to withdraw, or I'll put in money, and the company expects me to put in money when they want it. They have to go to they have to pitch it if they want money from me. Same way, if I have to withdraw, all I get is whatever the perks, the privileges, plus the salary. So that's decided, and that comes, and that's where I know this is my limit within which I have to survive and live.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing your views, sir. After this thoughtful session, I would like to invite Dhruv Marwadi sir and Sri Naresh Jadeja sir to present memento to our guest, Mr. Sandeep Mall sir.